JW lifestyle. Repeat a lie often enough and it becomes the truth. This is a law of propaganda often attributed to the Nazi Joseph Goebbels. Among psychologists, something like this is known as the illusion of truth effect. In today's video, I'm going to show you how the governing body has repeated over and over again to its members the idea that they're God's appointed channel on earth and that they're the only ones that can discern and interpret the truth found in the Bible, to the point that their followers believe it without question. They have presented no facts as to how they became God's channel. They have presented an illusion of facts, but when you really analyze it, there's actually no validity to their claims. I will start with the 1950s. Now, I'm sure that they make this crazy claim many more times than what I will be sharing today, but that would make the video way too long. But what I will show you here is that they have been consistently lying to their people throughout the past 70 years, telling them that they are God's chosen channel on earth. Don't take my word for it. I will leave all the links below so that you can look it up and do your own research. So let's take a look at the first magazine on the screen. And this is the September 1st, 1954 Watchtower. The organization is theocratic, subject to Jehovah God, and ruled by him through his reigning King Jesus Christ. This is the main reason for all those dedicated to God to recognize the organization, to be submissive to it, and to prove loyal to it. So here, they're already telling you that you have to submit to the organization. Now let's see what the next magazine says. And it's the August 1st, 1955 Watchtower. So let's take a look. And the title says, Recognizing the Theocratic Organization for Life. It says, for the carrying out of any work involving more than one person, an organization is required. And so we find that in times past, God has had organizations on earth. Such organizations were theocratic in that they were ruled by God. The nation of Israel was one such organization. The early Christian congregation was another. Those who recognized such theocratic organizations, such as Joshua and Caleb and Paul and Barnabas, received Jehovah's blessing. Those who refused to do so, such as Korah, Job, and Diotrephes, were destined for God's wrath and death. It drives home the point that if we would gain life, we must recognize the theocratic organization. The wise person will therefore humble himself to Jehovah's arrangement, for humility and life are better than pride and death. And here it's one of my favorite words. The facts show that this organization is associated with Jehovah's Witnesses. So look at the indoctrination here. It's telling you that if you want to be like Joshua and Caleb, you have to submit to the organization. But on the other hand, you'll be a bad person and you'll be rewarded with death if you don't. Now, moving on to the next article. It is the October 1st, 1967 Watchtower. Let's take a look. In paragraph 19, it starts with one of my favorite words, my second favorite word. Evidences are now conclusive that Jesus Christ was enthroned in heaven in 1914 CE, and that he accompanied Jehovah to his temple in 1918 CE, when judgment began with the house of God. After cleansing those belonging to this house who were alive on earth, Jehovah poured out his Spirit upon them and assigned them the responsibility of serving as his sole visible channel through whom alone spiritual instruction was to come. Those who recognize Jehovah's visible theocratic organization, therefore, must recognize and accept this appointment of the faithful and discreet slave and be submissive to it. Notice how it says that evidences show that Jesus was enthroned in 1914. Where is the evidence? Obviously, they don't have any. Let's take a look at the next magazine. And this is the December 15th, 1971 Watchtower. And it says, how did this governing body make its appearance in recent times? Here comes my favorite word, evidently, under the direction of Jehovah God and his Son, Jesus Christ. According to another favorite word, the facts available, the governing body became associated with the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania. Notice how they use the word evidently. The Cambridge Dictionary defines the word evidently as in a way that is easy to see and is used to say what people believe is true. So you can see how the governing body uses language to lead people to believe that their statements are true, such as evidently and the facts show. Now moving on to the next magazine, let's take a look. And this is the April 1st, 1972 Watchtower. It has a very interesting title. They shall know that a prophet was among them. And it says, so, does Jehovah have a prophet to help them, to warn them of dangers and to declare things to come? This prophet was not one man, but was a body of men and women. It was the small group of footstep followers of Jesus Christ known at that time as International Bible Students. Today they are known as Jehovah's Christian Witnesses. So here they're comparing themselves to a prophet from God. Prophets in the Bible were guided by Holy Spirit, and their prophecies would become realities. Now, how many prophecies of the governing body have actually become true? The next publication we're going to look at is the 1980 yearbook. Let's take a look. Since the governing body of modern times strives hard to proceed according to God's inspired word and recognizes Jehovah God as its ruler, it as well as the legal bodies directed by it can properly be termed theocratic instrumentalities. Theocratic means to be divinely guided or ruled. Wait, what? Theocratic means to be divinely guided or ruled. They just call themselves theocratic instrumentalities. Do I need to say anything else? Let's take a look at the next publication. And this is the United in Worship of the Only True God book that was published in 1983. And here it's talking about Christ's Spirit-anointed servants. And it says, to please Jehovah, we need to accept the instruction he provides through this channel and act in full harmony with it. So, according to them, a condition of pleasing God is to obey the governing body. I'd like to know where I can find that in the Bible. So moving on, So let's take a look at the next magazine. And this is the January 15th, 1994 Watchtower. In paragraph 6, it says, cooperation with theocratic organization is a vital part of submitting to theocracy. Such cooperation works for unity and order worldwide in the whole association of brothers. In turn, this pleases Jehovah, who is a God not of disorder but of peace. We've definitely heard this before. So moving on now to the June 1st, 1997 Watchtower, let's take a look. In paragraph 13 it says, if we highly respect God's inspired prophets of bygone days, and particularly God's Son, should we not also respect the human agency that Jehovah is using today in revealing biblical information so necessary for his people in these critical times? They are actually comparing themselves with prophets and Jesus, and they call Jesus the Son of God. So basically, they're putting themselves in a pretty high place. Let's take a look at the next article. And this is the March 15th, 2002 Watchtower. And it has a very direct title. It says, be obedient, be submissive. So let's look at the definition of submissive in the Cambridge Dictionary. Submissive means allowing yourself to be controlled by other people. So that means that every time they tell you to be submissive, they are telling you to let yourself be controlled by them. What a loving organization, right? And in this article, paragraph 12 says, the scriptures contain examples that teach us the value of obedience and submission. Referring to those who spoke abusively of the appointed men in the congregation, the disciple Jude pointed to 3 warning examples, saying, too bad for them, because they have gone in the path of Cain and have rushed into the erroneous course of Balaam for reward, and have perished in the rebellious talk of Korah. Calamity befell Cain, Balaam, and Korah. How vividly these examples teach us to listen to the counsel of those whom Jehovah uses in positions of responsibility and to respect them. So they use fear and reward and punishment to have their members under control and make them submissive and obedient, like they say. In the next article, however, we see how in recent years they have started to change their narrative. Let's take a look. And this is the February study edition Watchtower of the year 2017, and it says, the governing body is neither inspired nor infallible. Therefore, it can err in doctrinal matters or in organizational direction. In fact, the Watchtower Publications Index includes the heading, Beliefs Clarified, which lists adjustments in our scriptural understanding since 1870. Paragraph 13 talks about evidence of Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit has helped the governing body to grasp scriptural truths not previously understood. For example, reflect on the list of beliefs clarified that was referred to in the preceding paragraph. Surely, no human deserves credit for discovering and explaining these deep things of God. So, in a future video, I will be going over this list of beliefs clarified to show that it's really no evidence of Holy Spirit. On the other hand, it proves how they manipulate things however they see fit. And we will hear these same words again in the annual meeting 2023 part 2 in a talk that Jeffrey Winder gave. And let's watch the video.
So this is what we know from the scriptures and from our own experience as well about how the light gets brighter in modern times. It comes about by means of the Holy Spirit through his channel of the faithful and discreet slave. He reveals it gradually and at a time that it is needed. Well, knowing this, then, we are not embarrassed about adjustments that are made, nor is an apology needed for not getting it exactly right previously. We understand this is how Jehovah operates. He reveals matters gradually when it is needed. And also, the governing body is neither inspired nor infallible, and so it can err in doctrinal matters or in organizational direction. The brothers do the best they can with what they have and what they understand at the time, but are happy if Jehovah sees fit to clarify matters, and then that can be shared with the brotherhood. And when that happens, we understand it's because it's Jehovah's time for that to happen, and we eagerly accept that.
So, if Jehovah uses his spirit to clarify understanding progressively, why would they get things wrong? If they are guided by spirits, they should be getting to the right conclusions and not have new lights that contradict old lights. After all, they claim that is a gradual understanding of the truth. But this is just a lame excuse that they do the best they can with what they have, and it actually contradicts what he said earlier. So all this is proof that over the years, the governing body has manipulated its members to have faith in them, but they can't provide any concrete proof that they are God's appointed channel on earth. Whether you are an inactive or active Jehovah's Witness watching this video, please look up all the references that I left links to below and think about it. And then ask yourself if it really is reasonable to think that the governing body is really doing God's work. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.